Coach Caglione here. I wanted to come on here quick and tell you guys a story. When I met Larry Wheels, he was 19 years old. He was a mutant. At the time, we were doing a seminar with Stan the Rhino Efferding, former all-time record holder, professional bodybuilder, and I deadlifted 700 for the first time. I've only deadlifted 700 on a few occasions. I got stubby Italian fingers. I've had just a lot of issues with the deadlift, so I was ecstatic. This 19-year-old kid came into the Bronx, and he deadlifted with no technique or no coaching. Not once, not twice, but thrice. And that's kind of like when you kind of learn, not everyone is kind of playing with the same deck of cards. So why am I telling you this story? I think that like one of the things that grinds my gears more than anything, and I think that we kind of learned this probably better than the enhanced games really highlighted this. Outside of like Dylan Cooper, who, Dylan, if you're watching this, I'll tag you. I'd love to interview at some point your experience. Dylan Cooper went from being a weightlifter, and weightlifting is all drug tested. And then he got on the Sawzul. He documented his process and he smashed PRs, but still like nowhere near world records. And I think that's what people need to understand. It's going to, whatever you are, it's going to bump you up like maybe like 10%. All right. So if you're like a 2,000 total guy, raw, you probably can, it's not, 2,200 in like your near future, right? If you're a 1,500 guy, you're probably going to get to like, 1,650, 1,750. I mean, it's still good, but like you're not becoming a Larry Wheels, just because you go on a little TRT. So, one of the things I've tried to do when I got married, I moved down to Delaware, I was trying to be a little, I've been like kind of censoring myself a little bit. I noticed early on that people don't really like outsiders here, right? I was a crazy Italian that was like still kind of, trying to hold on to his competitive prime. I was battling with Travis Rogers. I was training at the Bear Cave. I was, pulling like 675 at Midway Muscle Club, doing like crazy stuff. People were like, what the heck is going on, right? And I started to censor myself more, even with my diet and stuff. I'm like, I'll just live a little bit. I don't need to have an extreme diet. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. I should just retire from powerlifting. But the thing is, I am what I am. I am what I am. And what I am not is some sort of genetic phenom. So I think one of the things that people have to understand when it comes to TRT, peptides, and all these things, it's just the icing on the cake. And I think that it's really important that, you don't kind of like water yourself down. I think it's important to kind of understand your actions have consequences. I think it's important that, this isn't a free-for-all, but I think that it's important to, be authentically you. And I think one of the reasons that why, even in this past couple of weeks, that my business has been better, my opportunities, I just kind of got Kinsley Fitness to kind of sponsor our show. Anyways, I have a lot of like really good things going on. I'm just kind of being my authentic self. I'm not trying to be someone I'm not trying to censor myself, ward myself. I'm not trying to pander to people that really aren't about the life that we're about. So I will be kind, but I will not be nice anymore. Okay. All right. So joking aside, so now I kind of want to just get into what I'm doing from a promotional side, from a coach, from a meet director, because sometimes people get their feelings hurt and they really have no reason, in my opinion, to get their feelings hurt. So one thing that when I'm on camera, I am myself, but maybe a times 10. When I'm taking a blast pack from Team Personal Record, it's going to be me on level 10, right? If I'm taking a Mind Bullet, right, some Kratom, that's a performance-enhancing substance. It's natural, right? I'm going to be me, but creative times 10. For me, one of the reasons why I prefer to compete in like RPS and kind of untested organizations is I had a really bad blood panel. And I'll kind of get into that maybe a little bit later. Maybe I'll do like a full podcast on my blood panel. Maybe I'll do a podcast with LifeMed. We're going to have a lot of things with Gary Miller talking about peptides. And listen, BPC 157, healing peptides, that ain't natty. These growth hormone secretagogues, that ain't natty. So anyways, so that is where I'm at with that. Anyways, there's a little context there because I think sometimes people, it's kind of a double-edged sword. So people know me that I coach Larry Wheels, but then they discount, he's enhanced, so he could do any program. Bro. I worked with him for like over a decade. Our program took him from like a 1,900 pound total to just shy of a 2,400 pound total. How many programs do you know put 500 pounds on your total? So that's something I talked about with Thomas Lilly. He trains like the Freak of Freaks, and I know Larry inspired Colton, and now Colton is the Freak of Freaks, right? So if you think just because you're not on any sort of hormone therapy, peptides, performance enhancing drugs, that's why you're not a Larry Wheels, that's why you're not totaling 2,000, I got another thing coming for you, brother. So one of the reasons I'm on level 10 is because over the last couple of years, I kind of mentioned that I've been censoring myself. I haven't been speaking up. I've been worried about hurting people's feelings. But I'm done being nice, and I'll be kind. So the truth is, being an untested athlete does provide some advantages. But again, it's like anything else. With great power comes great. It's all about using the appropriate dose, the optimal dose, using clinics like LifeMed or Coastal MD or Gary Miller as a company. There's good and bad ways to do it. But you shouldn't be sacrificing quality of life, in my opinion. Now, I think that the USAPL, for example, I think if you're like under 25, even under like 28, great organization in many ways. And I think that most people should stay. There's consequences to kind of playing with your hormones and taking enhancements too soon. But the era of enhancements is here, so you should learn about it. There is no amount of performance-enhancing drugs for 99.999% of people that it's going to make you a Colton ENGELBRECHT, a Larry Wheels. It's about your parents, and it's about it's about your genetics and your environment. It's about nature and nurture. And then if you want to throw in, the enhancement part, that's going to get you to unlock that next 10%. So anyways, but that being said, people, you really can't, how can we prove it? Well, a system like mine, I've actually worked with a lot of drug-tested and lifetime drug-free athletes. So I'm going to be putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to be entering a team to the USAPL Delaware State Championships. Lifetime natty daddies. 99% of a lot of, that may be, I'm exaggerating that figure. The majority of the athletes that I work with now are lifetime drug-free, or they would qualify for tested organizations. I even hate the word drug-free, because it's this is a drug, coffee is a drug. There's so many drugs we take. It's are you really, you're not drug-free. But semantics aside, we're going to be entering a drug-tested team into the Delaware State Championships. And then we're going to see. We're going to see if it really matters. If it really matters that much, or if is good coaching just good coaching. So again, I'm kind of done with my red and gold era, and I'm going gags NWO. So I'm going heel, baby. As a coach, and if you're a competitor, you should be seeking out competition. That is one of my tenets: is that you pursue strength and you seek competition. You pursue strength and you seek competition. If you are drinking water to establish, not even establish a freaking state record, dude, what are you doing? And you're going to put those certificates on the wall? Okay. So we'll see. We'll put our money where our mouth is. So it's okay. If you want to be the baby face, I'm the heel, baby. And again, joking aside, so I'm going to come out of character for a second. But I'm just myself, but level 10. Guys, powerlifting is boring. It's boring. No one cares. Let's add some spice to it. Let's get people excited. Let's get people excited about the matchups. Let's talk a little ish. Don't be so sensitive. We're all having fun. It should be fun, right? And one of the reasons why I put that bar path stat up is because I let my numbers do the talking. There's a lot of people that don't like me. There's a lot of people that they say things behind closed doors. They say I'm fat. They say I'm old. They say I'm washed up. They say I'm lazy, which is insane, by the way, because if you even knew what I was doing for the past year, I'm playing 3D chess in the background. I ain't going out drinking. I ain't hanging out with your coach. You call it your coach. Really, it's just a drinking buddy, If you are lifting with somebody and you're just drinking beers, that's not your coach. That's your buddy that you drink beers with. Your coach is a leader. Your coach is going to call you out when you're doing dumb stuff. Your coach is not going to let you take that third attempt if you're going to hurt yourself or pass out. So I'm going full heel. And you're going to talk about it. So anyways, I will be respectful, but man, let's have some fun, guys. The joke, I'm coming out of character for a second. Guys, let's have some fun. This should be fun. It doesn't need to be so serious. I take this as serious as anyone. I've been competing for 20 years. I'm so stupid I put 1,000 pounds on my back. You know, that's dumb. Why not have fun with it? And trust me, I sometimes throw my belt, sometimes I scream, and it's because I care. And you know how I care so much that I put myself on the line. I put myself out there. I've been all over the country promoting powerlifting and strict curl. Do you think I don't like being on planes. It's uncomfortable. I haven't been sleeping. I've been working. I want to put on money meets. I want to put on fun meets. I want to show the matchups. If you just win, if you're one of one and you tell people you won your weight class, bro, what are you doing? Go head to head. Talk some ish. Call them out. Do the contest. So last thing I'll just say, because I do think the performance enhancing, topic is still new. In my kind of interpretation is in the powerlifting side, it's still very, very taboo, and it's almost like you're a bad person if you don't compete in like Powerlifting America or USAPL. People really think that. You're gonna have a very funny episode that's gonna come out shortly about I think an IPF lifter that just I was having a very odd conversation in the DMs. We did Gary and Gags Reacts, so that's going to be our kind of prelude to this, just being more open, more transparent, just a little bit more unfiltered, raw and real. But in mainstream, the peptides, I have BPC 157 in the fridge. I have a torn hamstring. I wanted to get better faster. I've been waiting since January to freaking deadlift again. So are you going to let your quality of life fall by the wayside because you want to lift in a natty fed? I mean, again, that's fine, but I'm not going to do that personally. I want to take the healing peptide. But I do think in the spirit of sport, I think is supposed to be natural and drug-free. But the thing is, we don't live in 2026. We don't live in a natural and drug-free society. Think about all the ADHD medicines. And again, it's Ozempic's fine, GLP, retatrutide's fine, tirzepatide's fine. It's those are all drugs that give you an advantage in weight loss. And that's going to get, it's just are you really natty if you're taking retatrutide? If you're really natty if you're taking, anyways, just if you're injecting yourself with something, are you really natty? If you're taking insulin, but you get a TUE, Renee Garcia didn't get a therapeutic use exemption for her inhaler in the USAPL. They wouldn't let her use it. So my point is people should have options. That's all I'm saying. People should have options for how they want to live. Okay, your morals are different than my morals. My lifestyle, what I believe is right, is different, and it's okay. But just have a platform for everyone. Anyways, all that being said, I'm promoting the biggest drug-tested curl meet I've ever seen with Bruce Knox. So I do think there needs to be that too. I think there needs to be more, but again, people have to have options. One of the reasons why I started RPS Strict Curl was to give a platform for people that couldn't compete. And in a society where we're all supposed to be inclusive and accepting of one another, we're not. We're not accepting. So anyways, but people call me out. People think that I'm a certain way. I'll come to your turf. Let's play. Anyways, that's enough transparency for the next month. But I appreciate everyone. I just want to let people know where I'm coming from. I want people to be excited about lifting. I want people to have fun. I'm being serious now. I never want to hurt anyone. I was a fat kid growing up. I was picked on all through high school. I never want to hurt anyone's feelings. That's never my intention. But let's have some fun. Don't be so sensitive. You know who you are.